Bruce, I want to ask your opinion on a professional bodybuilding industry. I don't know if you follow it, I don't know if you're aware of it, but basically, what do you think is preventing professional bodybuilding from becoming more mainstream? Because when the UFC started originally, right, of course you know that it was very underground, sort of taboo, and it was available to a very small circle of people on pay-per-view or DVDs or whatever, right? So bodybuilding is sort of in a space where it has a great following from a very hardcore audience, right? But it doesn't cross over into mainstream, to the mainstream audiences. In your professional opinion, why do you think it's happening, and do you think there's any possibility of it going wide eventually?
Well, I have tremendous respect for bodybuilders. I know a number of bodybuilders have actually appeared at the Mr. Universe contest. I think it was Ronnie Coleman that I introduced when he was going for his third Mr. Universe championship, if I'm not mistaken. And it was quite an amazing experience. There's a lot of dedication and so much work goes into being a bodybuilder. Not everybody in society is attracted to the bodybuilding industry. It has its niche fans and a very large amount of fans worldwide. It's not like the UFC and fight. Like Dana always said, let's put it this way: if there's a baseball game in one corner and a bodybuilding contest in the other corner, and a football game in one corner, everybody's going to run over to watch the fight, right? So fights always have that universal appeal to a large extent. Bodybuilding is kind of like kickboxing in the correlation of your question. Kickboxing, which I love. I used to kickbox a lot. I've been a martial artist since I was 12. And I had 3 black belts, but I was heavily into kickboxing for 10, 12 years. It just I wanted to have one pro fight, but I knew there was no money in it. I wasn't in it for the money. I just wanted to say I had one pro fight. I got concussed twice during training, and that didn't happen. But it's like back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, kickboxing was here, but it could never quite break through like the UFC did. Bodybuilding's been around for a long time. I first met Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1976. We used to have breakfast at the same place called Izzy's Deli over here in Santa Monica, or Kenny's Deli at the time in Santa Monica. And it was amazing watching that amazing specimen of a human being walk in and eat his 2 dozen eggs or whatever he was eating at the time. But even back then, bodybuilding has this great following like we do, a loyal following and fans. But since then, it's gotten there, but it hasn't gone through like you're asking me about. Maybe that's the destiny. I don't know. I really can't say. I really can't say. It's about universal appeal. It's an amazing sport. The athletes in bodybuilding, all they go through, again, nothing but respect. That dedication is beyond the norm.
Right, right. Actually, a great point you made about the kickboxing, because kickboxing was always around, but it didn't find such a huge audience like UFC, right? I think that had to do with promotion a lot, right? I feel like the UFC team did an amazing job with actually taking it to the next level, as far as promotion, marketing, and everything else.
It's true. It's true, Vlad, but here's the thing in business. I've run many businesses, I've owned many businesses and built different brands. In the entertainment industry, you need personalities to drive the sport. Arnold Schwarzenegger put bodybuilding on the map, right? Back in the day. Okay. Personalities drive sports. In basketball, when in the late 90s or whatever, when Bird and Magic and Jordan all retired, I used to have season tickets to the Lakers for 5 years here and saw all their championships and all from 88 to 93, right? But when they retired, I lost my interest in basketball to a large extent because the personalities weren't driving me to watch the sport, And the same as in the heavyweight division of boxing. People say, well, why did boxing go through a lull? Well, Mike Tyson, made everybody watch boxing, right? And everybody wants that big, bad heavyweight, and that's why Tyson Fury's putting some more flavor and fury into watching boxing, and Anthony Joshua and Wilder. These are personalities coming out that are causing people to watch the sport. So I really think it's about the promoters and how well they promote, which basically is the owners of the business and how well they run that business. But you got to have personalities to drive the sport. And that's true of the UFC too. Think about the it factor. It's called the personality with the it factor. Ronda Rousey, it factor. Conor McGregor, it factor. Floyd Mayweather, it factor. Khabib Nurmagomedov in his own way, it factor, right? He's exploded, and sure, he exploded into a major personality, making incredible money, everything. Yes, teamed up with Connor to It Factor, which then made the whole thing become an It Factor. This is just my theory,